The story of Issei the Cannibal.
In 1981, Paris was a city of dreams for many, where artists, scholars, and students flocked to immerse themselves in its rich culture and history. Among them was Issei Sagawa, a 32-year-old Japanese student from a wealthy family, studying comparative literature at the Sorbonne, one of the most prestigious universities in the world. Despite his small stature and unassuming appearance, Sagawa harbored dark and terrifying desires that no one around him could have imagined.
Issei had been consumed by a monstrous obsession, a compulsion to eat human flesh. This fixation had haunted him since childhood, but it was in Paris, far from the watchful eyes of his family, that he began to plot the unthinkable. He fixated on a fellow student, Renée Hartevelt, a beautiful 25-year-old Dutch woman who was everything Sagawa admired: intelligent, confident, and physically attractive. They became friends, often discussing literature and philosophy, and Sagawa would invite her to his apartment for dinner. She had no reason to suspect anything was wrong. Sagawa was polite and friendly, if somewhat shy and reserved. On the evening of June 11th, 1981, Sagawa invited Renée over for what she believed was a simple dinner. She arrived at his small, cluttered apartment, completely unaware that this would be her last night alive. Sagawa had prepared meticulously for this moment, but as he served her wine, he remained eerily calm, hiding his true intentions behind a mask of normalcy. As Renée sat at the table reading poetry aloud, Sagawa quietly retrieved a rifle he had hidden. With cold precision, he aimed it at the back of her head and pulled the trigger. Renée collapsed to the floor, lifeless. But for Sagawa, this was only the beginning. Over the next 2 days, Sagawa indulged in his darkest fantasies. He dismembered her body, consuming parts of her flesh raw and cooking other parts like a grotesque gourmet. He took photographs of the macabre scene, preserving the memory of his actions. Sagawa later described the experience as a fulfillment of his lifelong desires, relishing the taste and texture of human flesh in horrifying detail. But his crime was not as meticulously covered up as he had planned. Sagawa attempted to dispose of Renée's remains by placing them in suitcases and planning to dump them in a remote lake. However, he was spotted by passers-by while struggling with the heavy luggage, and soon after, the police were called. When they opened the suitcases, they were met with the grisly sight of dismembered body parts. Sagawa was arrested on the spot. The trial that followed was brief but sensational, shocking not only France but the entire world. Sagawa openly confessed to his crime, showing no remorse, and described his actions in a disturbingly clinical manner. However, due to a finding of legal insanity, he was deemed unfit to stand trial and was committed to a psychiatric hospital. What is perhaps most unsettling about this story is what happened next. Sagawa's wealthy and influential family managed to secure his transfer back to Japan, where he was promptly declared sane by Japanese authorities and released to Gracie. And 1986, Sagawa, the man who had confessed to cold-blooded murder and cannibalism, was now a free man. Instead of fading into obscurity, Sagawa reveled in his infamy. He wrote books, gave interviews, and even became a minor celebrity in Japan, profiting from the horrific crime he had committed. His ability to walk free, and even thrive, after such a gruesome act remains one of the most disturbing aspects of this story. To this day, Issei Sagawa lives in Japan, his past haunting those who learn of his story. He embodies the terrifying reality that sometimes the most horrifying monsters are those who walk among us, hiding their true nature behind a mask of normalcy.
Enjoyed the content? Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring more awesome videos your way. Don't forget to click the bell icon to stay updated with all our latest uploads. Thanks for watching.